When I was 10, maybe 11, I was homesick from school and was on the couch watching TV when the doorbell rang. It was the mailman, who told me that we had gotten a package, but it was so big that he needed help carrying it. I wasn't that old, but I knew right away something was wrong. I asked him where his truck was, because I didn't see it parked out front. He kept telling me it was around the corner. I asked him why the regular mailman, who always brought lollipops, wasn't here, and I was told he was visiting family. He kept telling me to open the front door, but I politely told him that I wasn't feeling well and that I wasn't allowed to leave the house. I told him that we would pick up the box from the post office, and he was telling me how much of a hassle that would be and how my mom would want me to do her this favor. I told him that I would come outside, but that I had to get my shoes from upstairs first. I closed the front door and locked it. Then I ran through the house and locked the back door and called my neighbor who worked from home. She was a close family friend, and I called her up screaming into the phone that she had to come over right now. Then I stood at the locked front door and stared at the man through the window in the door. He saw me and started yelling through the door and asking if I found my shoes, so I yelled at him that I called my neighbor to help carry it because she's older and stronger. He just turned around and ran. They never caught him. I always wondered if he ever managed to trick some other kid.
Number 2.
I was driving a shortcut from 29 Palms, California to Albuquerque, New Mexico. 29 Palms is located in the desolate high desert east of LA. The shortcut was all two-lane road through total nothingness, except for passing through Amboy, California. Amboy is a nearly abandoned town nearly as far below sea level as Death Valley, with a dormant volcano and lava field on one side and a salt flat on the other. It was also, at the time, a hotspot for satanic group activity. So I was driving myself in the afternoon. I stopped in Amboy and snapped a picture of the city sign, just to prove I was there to friends who dared me to take that route to I-40. I got back in my car and proceeded to drive up into the mountain range between Amboy and I-40. Once I reached the top, I am driving north through a canyon with high grass on both sides of the road. Up ahead, I see some stuff in the middle of the road. As I approach, I slow down to see a red Pontiac Fiero stopped sideways across both lanes. A suitcase open with clothes scattered everywhere and two bodies laying face down in the road, a man and a woman. I stop 100 feet or so away, and the hair on the back of my neck is standing up. Being a Marine, I reach under the seat and pulled out a 9mm pistol and a chamber round. Something seemed very wrong. It looked too perfect, as if it were staged. An ambush? Was I being paranoid? Something was just wrong. Getting out of the car seemed unthinkable. It was the horror movie move. As I scanned the road, I saw a line I could drive, past the guy in the road on his left, swerve to the right side of the woman behind the Fiero, and I'd be on the other side. I dropped into first gear, punched it, and drove the line I planned. I passed the back of the Fiero without hitting it or either of the bodies on the road. I continued forward a couple 100 feet and slowed down so I could breathe and let my heart slow down. As I looked into the rearview mirror, I saw that the two bodies had gotten up to their knees, and 20 or so people emerged from the tall grass on either side of the road by the car and bodies. At that moment, my right foot smashed the gas pedal to the floor and did not let up until I had to slow down for the I-40 East on-ramp. I'll never know what would have happened to me if I had gotten out of the car to check on the bodies, or stopped my car closer to them. Somehow, I don't think it would have been good. Sometimes, real life can be scarier than a movie.
Number 3.
I lived in an old farmhouse that was over 150 years old in the 1990s, and at some point had been used as a headquarters for Union troops in Northern Virginia. Lots of creepy shit happened there, but this is the shortest story I've got. The house had a stone cellar, divided into 2 rooms, and it always made me uncomfortable going down there to get anything for my parents. One day, I was asked to find some menial object that was in the cellar, and I knew it would be in the room with the boiler in it. The room that also had a dysfunctional light. So I made my way into the basement, and lo and behold, that damn light wouldn't turn on. But the object I needed was within the frame of light reaching into the blackness of the room through the doorway. So I walked a few steps into the room, grabbed the object, and randomly glanced around. In the corner of the room was a dark shadow about 6 feet in height and humanoid in shape. No worries, my dad kept his 6-foot-tall John Wayne cutout in the basement, so that had to be it. I calmly turned to my left and nearly jumped out my damp skin as I came face to face with John Wayne just inside the doorway and leaning against the wall. I spun on my heels and stared into an empty corner where the dark shadow had been only moments before, and sprinted my ass out of the cellar. I refused to go down into that basement for at least a month after that happened.